I stood in the manicured garden of my parents' San Francisco estate, the late afternoon sun glinting off the bay in the distance, but my heart was hammering like a war drum. The air smelled of jasmine and grilled steak, a familiar comfort that did nothing to ease the knot twisting in my stomach. My sister Ava, 36, radiant in a crimson designer dress that screamed money she didn't have, was herding our extended family toward the center of the lawn. Her voice, sharp and performative, cut through the chatter. "Everyone, gather round. I've got something big to share." Her smile was all teeth, a predator's grin, and I knew, God, I knew she was about to swing a wrecking ball at my life. At 34, I'd spent 2 decades dodging Ava's attempts to dim my light, but this felt different. This felt like a trap. In my pocket, the cold weight of a keyring pressed against my thigh. The keys to a $3 million, 0-cents Malibu beachfront mansion. Ava's obsession, now mine. I'd bought it in secret, a calculated move to flip the script on her relentless rivalry. But as her eyes locked onto mine, gleaming with something dark, I wondered if I'd underestimated the storm she was about to unleash. The drive to my parents' place that morning had nearly killed me. I was speeding down the 1-1, my mind tangled in thoughts of Ava's latest Instagram post, a filtered shot of her posing in front of my biotech startup's office, captioned, "Always inspiring my little sis to dream big." The audacity of it burned. I was so distracted I didn't see the semi-truck veering into my lane until its horn blared, a deafening roar that snapped me back to reality. I swerved hard, my Tesla's tires screeching as I skidded onto the shoulder, gravel spraying like shrapnel. My hands shook on the wheel, my breath coming in gasps. Was it an accident, or was someone trying to send a message? I'd been getting cryptic texts for weeks. "Back off, or you'll regret it," ever since I started negotiating for the Malibu house. I shook my head, telling myself it was just paranoia. Ava's schemes were psychological, not physical. Still, the near miss left me rattled, a warning that today's reunion would be anything but a cozy family barbecue. Growing up in the Bay Area, our childhood was comfortable, but not flashy. Dad was a software engineer who coded in his sleep, Mom a freelance journalist who chased stories with a passion that embarrassed us at school events. They raised us to value hard work, integrity, the whole American dream playbook. I took it to heart, squirreling away every penny from summer jobs to fund my future. Ava, 2 years older, saw life as a stage. She craved the spotlight. Gucci bags, 5-star resorts, the validation of strangers' likes. By middle school, our dynamic was set. I'd pour weeks into a science project, building a solar-powered model city that won first place at the state fair. Ava, standing by the display, told our teachers she'd helped with the tricky parts because I was too young to get it. I was 12, and the sting of her stealing my moment still lingers. In high school, it got uglier. When I aced the SATs and got into Stanford, Ava spread rumors I'd cheated, whispering to our classmates that I'd bought the answers. My reputation took a hit, and I spent months proving I'd earned my spot. Our parents, bless them, didn't see the pattern. "Ava's just expressive," Mom would say, while Dad patted my shoulder and told me to toughen up. Their love was real, but their blind spot for Ava's manipulation was a wound that never healed. I clawed my way through Stanford, graduating with a biotech degree and a chip on my shoulder. Ava, meanwhile, flunked out of community college after 1 semester, chasing influencer fame on Instagram. I founded Viridian Labs, a biotech startup developing vaccines for emerging diseases. 5 years in, we were pulling in millions, our names splashed across Forbes as a startup to watch. Ava? She was still hustling for sponsorships, maxing out credit cards to maintain her curated life in a Los Angeles penthouse she couldn't afford. When Forbes called, Ava posted a throwback photo of us as kids, claiming she'd planted the seed for my company. The lie was so bold, I almost laughed. Almost. 3 years ago, on a family vacation in Malibu, Ava fell in love with a beachfront mansion. It was a sprawling masterpiece, cedar and glass, private beach, ocean views that stretched to forever. She spent the trip snapping photos, posting about her future home, despite the $3 million 0 cents price tag being light years beyond her means. Every family gathering since, she'd wax poetic about hosting us there, her voice dripping with a fantasy she'd never earn. I let her dream, keeping my own plans close to my chest. 6 months ago, Viridian hit a wall. A batch of vaccines we'd shipped was contaminated, costing us millions and tanking our reputation. The headlines were brutal. Viridian Labs fumbles vaccine rollout. Then a rival company, BioCore, slapped us with a patent infringement lawsuit, claiming our tech was theirs. If they won, we'd be bankrupt. I took a high-stakes loan from a venture capital firm, putting my personal savings on the line. To top it off, a hacker breached our database, threatening to leak proprietary research unless I paid $500,000. 0 cents. I was juggling a lawsuit, a PR nightmare, and an extortion attempt, all while keeping my team of 50 employees from panicking. I confided in my cousin Sophie, who ran a tech consultancy and helped me restructure debt. Somehow, Ava got wind of my troubles. I later learned she'd bribed a fired employee to leak my financial contingency plans, documents my lawyer drafted in case we had to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Ava didn't understand. They were just a precaution, not a reality. Or maybe she did, and that was worse. Last month, the Malibu mansion hit the market again, slashed to $2,200,000 0 cents in a divorce fire sale. The moment I saw the listing, a spark ignited. I could buy Ava's dream house, not just as an investment, but as a way to rewrite our story. It was reckless. Liquidating my emergency fund and selling company stock left me exposed, but I formed an anonymous LLC and made an all-cash offer. The deal closed yesterday, the day before the reunion. As I signed the final papers, my phone buzzed with another anonymous text. "You're playing a dangerous game." I ignored it, but the unease lingered. Was Ava behind it, or was someone else watching? Now, standing in my parents' garden, I scanned the crowd of 50 relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, all clutching plastic cups and paper plates, oblivious to the bomb Ava was about to drop. Mom, in a floral sundress, rushed over, her hug warm with sunscreen and Chanel No. 5. "Emily, you made it," she beamed, then lowered her voice. "Ava's been acting strange all morning. Says she's got a big announcement." My stomach churned. I knew Ava's announcements were never good. I set my homemade bruschetta on the appetizer table, already groaning with potato salad and deviled eggs, and forced a smile. "Probably just her latest influencer deal," I said, but the lie tasted bitter. I caught Ava's eye across the lawn, her crimson dress a stark contrast to my navy blazer and jeans. She waved, her smile too bright, then whispered to our Aunt Patricia, who shot me a pitying glance. My pulse quickened. Whatever she was planning, it was personal. Cousin Sophie sidled up, handing me a glass of Pinot Grigio. "Don't let her get in your head," she murmured. "She's been whispering about you all day." Sophie was my rock, the only one who knew about Viridian's struggles. "She's 36, Em. This sibling crap should have ended a decade ago." I nodded, sipping the wine, but the tension was a vice around my chest. Dad's voice boomed, calling everyone to the tables for lunch. I found my seat, directly across from Ava, because of course Mom's seating chart was a recipe for drama. Ava was already holding court, regaling our cousins with tales of her exclusive Hamptons weekend, funded by some nameless friend. Her dress still had the security tag dangling from the hem, a sloppy attempt at looking rich. "Emily," she purred, leaning forward, I was just saying, real estate's where the real money is. You'd know, right? Or maybe not, with your situation. The table went quiet. My fork froze midair. She knew about the loan, the lawsuit, maybe even the hack, but how much? Real estate can be smart, I said evenly, piling salad onto my plate. If you've got the capital. Her eyes gleamed. Oh, I've been researching financial stability. Some businesses just aren't built to last, you know? Like, say, a startup that overextends itself. Uncle George coughed, shifting in his seat. Cousin Derek asked, too casually, "How's Viridian doing, Em?" I felt the heat rising to my cheeks, but kept my voice steady. We're navigating some challenges, but we're solid. Ava's smile widened, a shark circling blood. Before I could brace myself, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I glanced down. A call from my lead investor, probably spooked by Ava's rumors. I silenced it, my hands trembling. The vultures were closing in. Lunch was a gauntlet. Aunt Patricia suggested I look into stable admin jobs. Cousin Greg, who'd tanked 3 startups, offered to review my books. Every pitying glance was a knife twist, orchestrated by Ava's whispers. I excused myself to the bathroom, locking the door and splashing cold water on my face. My phone lit up with a text from the real estate agent. "Malibu closing confirmed. Keys yours tomorrow at 9 a.m. Relief washed over me, sharp and cold. I had the upper hand, but Ava's performance was far from over. Back outside, Uncle David, a retired lawyer with a knack for seeing through bullshit, caught me by the dessert table. "Your sister's on a warpath," he said, slicing into Mom's key lime pie. "She's been working the crowd like a politician. Gotta guess what she's up to?" I shook my head, grabbing a brownie. "Nothing good," he chuckled. "People like Ava need to tear others down to feel tall. You're stronger than that, Im." A sharp clink of metal on glass silenced the yard. Ava stood at the head of the table, radiant and ruthless, spoon in hand. "Everyone, I need your attention," she called, her voice dripping with faux sincerity. My heart sank. Here it was. First, thanks to Mom and Dad for this amazing reunion. Our parents beamed, clueless. Family means everything to me, which is why I can't stay silent when one of us is in trouble. Her eyes locked on mine, brimming with crocodile tears. "I'm sure you've noticed Emily's been off today. Quiet, withdrawn." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. My knuckles whitened around my napkin. "It breaks my heart to say this," Ava continued, her voice cracking for effect. "But Emily's company has collapsed. She's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy." The gasp was collective, a wave of shock and pity crashing over me. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. "Emily, is this true?" Dad stood, face flushed. "Why didn't you tell us?" Before I could speak, Ava barreled on. "I found the paperwork last week. She's lost everything. Her lab, her contracts, even her personal assets. The bank's coming for her house next." The lie was so precise, so vicious, I almost admired it. Chapter 11, not Chapter 7, to sound credible. She'd done her homework, probably with that leaked document. "She was too ashamed to tell you," Ava said, her voice thick with fake empathy. "But we're family. No secrets, no shame." She turned to me, all concern. "Em, I've already cleared out my guest room. You can stay with me until you're back on your feet. I've got job leads too, something stable like admin work." The humiliation burned, but the betrayal cut deeper. 3 years ago, when Ava got fired from her latest gig, I offered her a role at Viridian. She laughed, saying she'd never work for her little sister. Now she was playing savior, twisting the knife in front of everyone. I stood, my voice steady despite the rage. "Thank you, Ava, but you've got it wrong. Viridian's restructuring, not bankrupt. I'm handling it." Her smile flickered, but she recovered. "Oh, Em, don't be proud. I saw the Chapter 11 forms. It's okay to admit you failed." The crowd shifted, some nodding, others whispering. I was losing them. My phone buzzed again, another investor no doubt spooked by Ava's lies. I excused myself, feeling their eyes on my back as I headed inside. In the quiet of my parents' kitchen, I leaned against the counter, breathing hard. Sophie texted, "Want me to accidentally dump wine on her dress?" I smiled, then saw another message from the agent. "Final contract ready. Congrats on the mansion." I straightened, resolve hardening. Ava thought she'd broken me, but tomorrow I'd rewrite the narrative. Uncle David appeared, closing the door for privacy. "She's a piece of work," he said, settling into a chair. "But you're not bankrupt, are you?" I shook my head. "Not even close. She found contingency papers and spun a story." He nodded, eyes twinkling. "You've got a plan, don't you?" I smiled faintly. "It's in motion." He clapped my shoulder. "That's my girl. Go get her." As I rejoined the party, Ava was still at it, promising to guide me through my crisis. The pitying looks multiplied, relatives offering job tips, condolence hugs, even a pamphlet for multi-level marketing. Mom slipped me extra food as if I were starving, while Dad mumbled about dipping into his retirement fund. Their concern was real, but their blind faith in Ava's lies stung. As the sun set, tiki torches flickering, I sat alone on the garden swing, the same one I'd escaped to as a kid when Ava's taunts got too sharp. Sophie joined me, handing me another wine glass. "She's still at it," she said, nodding toward Ava, now posing for selfies with cousins. "You okay?" I nodded, but my phone buzzed again. Ava's name flashed. A group text to the family, taking Emily to brunch tomorrow to discuss her next steps. "So grateful for your support in her tough time." The nerve of it. I hadn't agreed to brunch. She was staging a public rescue. I typed a private message. "Meet me at 1845 Ocean Drive, Malibu, 10:30. I am in. We need to talk." Her reply was instant, syrupy. "Of course, sis. I'm here for you." She thought I was caving. She had no idea what was coming. As I helped Mom clean up, she touched my arm. "Is it as bad as Ava says?" I set down a dish, meeting her eyes. "Mom, if I were bankrupt, would I let Ava break the news at a reunion? It's a lie. She snooped, misunderstood, and ran with it." Mom looked ashamed. "She seemed so sure." I sighed. She always does. My phone rang, the real estate agent. I stepped onto the porch. "Everything's set for 9 a.m., he said. "The mansion's yours." "Owners already moved out." I thanked him, glancing at Ava across the yard, her eyes narrowing as she watched me. Tomorrow, I'd turn the tables. The keys in my pocket felt heavier, not with regret, but with purpose. The Pacific Ocean stretched before me, a restless expanse of silver and blue, its waves crashing against the private beach of my new Malibu mansion. I stood on the wraparound porch, the cedar planks warm under my bare feet, clutching a mug of coffee that had gone cold. The keys to this $3 million 0-cent dream house, Ava's dream house, dangled from my fingers, their weight both a triumph and a taunt. I'd bought it to rewrite the story of our rivalry, to show my sister she couldn't break me. But as I waited for Ava to arrive, her red BMW convertible no doubt speeding down the Pacific Coast Highway, my victory felt fragile. Last night's family reunion still burned in my mind. Ava's venomous announcement that I'd gone bankrupt, her crocodile tears fooling our relatives, the pitying looks that followed me like shadows. Worse, the anonymous texts, "Stop the deal or you'll regret it," echoed in my head. Were they from Ava or someone else? The car that tailed me this morning, a black SUV with tinted windows, had vanished when I pulled into the mansion's driveway, but its presence lingered like a bruise. My phone buzzed, snapping me back. A text from Ava. 5 minutes out, ready to talk, sis. Her words dripped with that fake sweetness, but I wasn't here to play her game. I was here to end it. The drive from San Francisco had been a gauntlet. I'd left my parents' estate at dawn, the ink barely dry on the mansion's closing papers. The real estate agent, a brisk woman named Carla, had handed me the keys with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Congratulations, Miss Harper. This place is a gem." I'd nodded, but as I climbed into my Tesla, I felt eyes on me. Halfway down the 101, the black SUV appeared in my rearview mirror, keeping pace no matter how fast I went. My heart pounded as I took a sharp turn onto a side road, watching it follow, then disappear when I merged back onto the highway. Was it paranoia, or was someone trying to scare me off? The threats about the house deal had started weeks ago, cryptic messages from burner numbers I couldn't trace. I'd brushed them off as Ava's petty mind games, but now I wasn't sure. My biotech startup, Viridian Labs, was already under siege, a hacker demanding $500,000, 0 cents, to keep our vaccine research from leaking, a rival company's patent lawsuit threatening to bankrupt us, a defective vaccine batch that cost millions. And then Ava's stunt at the reunion, announcing my bankruptcy to 50 relatives, had lit a match under it all. She'd even roped in a journalist friend, Tara, who was itching to publish an exposé. If I didn't shut this down, my reputation, personal and professional, would be ash. I set the coffee mug on the porch railing and paced, the ocean breeze tangling my hair. The mansion was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a stone fireplace dominating the great room, a kitchen with granite counters that gleamed like polished obsidian. Upstairs, the master suite overlooked the Pacific, its spa-like bathroom a sanctuary I hadn't yet earned. I'd liquidated my emergency fund and sold Viridian stock to afford it, a reckless move for a CEO whose company was teetering. But this wasn't just about money. It was about Ava, who'd spent our lives stealing my victories, claiming she guided my middle school science project, spreading rumors I cheated to get into Stanford, posting online that she inspired my Forbes-featured startup. Her latest blow, that public humiliation at the reunion, was the final straw. I'd bought her dream house to show her I wasn't broken, but standing here now, I wondered if I'd traded one battlefield for another. The roar of an engine pulled me from my thoughts. Ava's BMW screeched into the circular driveway, kicking up dust. She stepped out, her designer sunglasses perched on her head, her blush-pink jumpsuit screaming Instagram perfection. Her eyes darted over the mansion, confusion etching her face as she checked her phone, then the address on the mailbox. "Emily?" she called, climbing the porch steps. "What the hell are you doing here? Whose house is this?" Her voice was sharp, but there was a tremor in it like she sensed the ground shifting. I gestured to the swing beside me. "Sit." "Coffee?" She stayed standing, arms crossed. "Seriously, Em, are you house-sitting or something? What is this place?" I took a slow sip of my cold coffee, letting the moment stretch. "You don't recognize it? That's surprising considering you've posted about it for 3 years. Your dream home?" Her jaw dropped, eyes widening as she spun to take in the cedar facade, the private beach, the dock stretching into the ocean. "This is the Malibu mansion? The one that sold?" Her voice cracked, a mix of awe and dread. "It went back on the market last month," I said, tossing the keys onto the table between us. "Divorce sale?" I made an offer. She froze, her gaze snapping to the keys, then to me. You bought this? How? You're bankrupt." And there it was, the admission I'd been waiting for. She knew her announcement was a lie. I leaned back, my voice calm but steel-edged. "That's what I wanted to talk about, Ava. I'm not bankrupt, never was. She sank onto the swing, clutching her purse like a lifeline. "But I saw the paperwork," she insisted, her confidence fraying. "Chapter 11 forms." I set my mug down, meeting her eyes. Those were contingency plans, never filed. Viridian hit a rough patch, a bad supplier, a lawsuit, some PR issues.